Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J-Dawg.
Mike, it's good to see you. We both survived 2024 Eclipse. If people are listening to this, they probably survived it too. The world has not ended yet, so we're doing great.
Not yet. I mean, I was nervous. I told Erin not to drive this morning. She was going to go drive during the actual eclipse time. I said, how about this? Just stay home, reschedule.
You
said
that to her in LA, where we saw this like 20% or less. I'm saying less than 20 because I got some raw eyes. I raw dogged that sun for a few seconds, and there was a little piece of it gone, but not 20% of it.
Can I say I was in another thread, and people were sending pictures of the LA sky in that thread. Bad move. Just, you don't have to send me pictures from your iPhone. Like, I can go outside and look at it too.
It's like fireworks.
Okay.
Like, just don't send me a picture or video.
Yeah.
It's always a bad look. But the East Coast, Texas, Ohio, they got totality. My parents,
cool.
I told you, they traveled from Florida to Ohio. They had 4 minutes of darkness in
cool.
Ohio, a perfectly weathered day. So some people had a spiritual experience, Mike. I saw 60% of first-time people that witnessed totality, they cry. 60% of first-timers.
And I saw that the government wanted us all to record animals because animals would be acting weird around the time. I will say, I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but my dogs started getting hyped right at the time, like at that 10:30 mark when it was just about crossing through.
Yeah.
They were getting hyped in the house. I did not record it, but I thought it was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, this could be...
Well, they were supposed to think it's nighttime. They shouldn't be, like, freaking out.
They weren't freaking out. They were, like, roughhousing around, just jumping around. So, who knows? We'll see tomorrow if any video clips come out of weird animal stuff.
Yeah, science has a very small window to study these things. Only
true.
4 minutes every few years. Speaking of roughhousing, it was a weekend full of roughhousing at WrestleMania XL 50 in Philadelphia. I'm making a heel. Is it a heel turn? Is that what it's called when you like change into the heel? I'm making a heel turn because I was never a wrestling guy before this weekend, Mike. And WrestleMania, we had a watch party Saturday. We both watched individually last night. Last night was amazing. We're going to get into it all. But how sick was WrestleMania this weekend?
I really liked it. It was years for me. Now, I was talking to Jeremy. Jeremy was you were not a middle schooler or high schooler growing up watching wrestling.
And we determined why, right? My white trash rating is much lower than yours, possibly.
Possibly. I grew up full on white trash. I loved wrestling. I was a huge fan of it. Knew all the guys. Some of the guys I still can't believe are still wrestling today because I thought I was like 15 at the time and they're now like in their 50s. I thought it was great. It seemed like a lot of people enjoyed it too. I don't know if it's just because now my feed has been pushed to WrestleMania content. It's literally all wrestling content right now.
Well, this should be a new segment on the show because when we were doing Kate Middleton, we discovered that your entire TikTok became her. Now it's all WWE. We should do a recurring segment like what is Mike's TikTok this week, and that will kind of tell you the way the world is going.
I will say right now it is about 50% wrestling and then 50% baby stuff because it's a lot of baby stuff we're trying to get prepared for.
And what's the baby stuff? What's the reason around that?
Well, because it's like info. It's like, here's how to put your newborn down and here's how to play with your newborn. It's like, I don't know what they do with a newborn baby. So the TikTok's teaching me how to raise my child.
Well, you're going to teach us all in a week. By the way, Mike is giving birth. His wife is giving birth. In the next few days, really any day, any minute, the pod might end. If the pod ends early today, it's because his wife yelled out to him that she just went into labor. Like, it's that kind of scenario this week, maybe really next week. So we're right on the border, but we're not missing any shows. You said we're just going to keep
we're going to keep, unless it happens on the day, the show will keep going. And she's due Friday, so next week is definitely like, if it happens during the show will end early because it's like it's late. So we'll see what happens.
Masters baby is in play, 420 baby. So we have a lot of themes going on for this kid. Back to WrestleMania. Yeah. I love Saturday. The Rock was supposed to be in the match, and he delivered. There was a 45-minute match. The guy is doing a million things, yet he comes out there and acts like he's been wrestling this whole time. It looked like he didn't miss a beat from the glory days when you used to watch him. Yeah. It was vintage Rock. It was amazing. They were pulling stuff out from under the ring. The announcers' tables, apparently you slam people into those, which as I watched more on Sunday, I realized everyone does that move. It's a move that everyone has, but it's okay. It's still cool when they rip all the monitors off the desk and they slam them in.
It was better. I will say it was better back in the day because they were actually like big ass like CRV or CRT whatever monitors, so they were thick monitors they throw off. Now it's just like those little cheap little plastic monitors. Yeah,
exactly. So Saturday was cool, but then last night the main event when spoiler alert, Cody Rhodes wins the title for the first time. The American Nightmare, Mike. He gets he kind of like gets redemption on everything that he's been up against. He has so many losses. I've been reading about this. So many losses recently, and he wins on Sunday night, but he doesn't win alone. He wins with the help of what you could say the modern WWE Avengers came out, like real life superheroes came out and helped him win that match.
It was pretty crazy. It was very, it's all scripted, but it was very like you even see the announcer.
What do you mean?
You even see the announcer girl like crying when Cody won it, and Undertaker came out. Who else came out? Was it AJ Styles?
John Cena came out. That was sick. The Rock came out, which wasn't a surprise, but it was cool he came back again. But that moment, you just mentioned it, when the Undertaker bell tolls, and it's like one bell, and like everyone stops, it goes dark, and like wrestling people knew what it was. I didn't know what it was. I was like, someone's coming out, and then he's standing behind Rock right there, like that shot. I think that'll be in my mind forever.
Wow.
I might never forget that shot of The Rock looking around and The Undertaker is right next to him.
I thought it was great because it really, like, since I've not been watching for years, I thought this was a great way to come back into it. I thought it was a great WrestleMania. It was a lot of fun. I was saying to you, I was texting you, I was like, Sunday was a much better day of wrestling. It felt more like higher skill level wrestlers. And then the end, obviously, like all the guys coming out. And I kept telling you Stone Cold was supposed to come out, and there's still stories today that Stone Cold just didn't get paid enough to come out and fight with The Rock. But
it's kind of sad because he's the one legend we're missing. When it's all said and done from this weekend, he's the one guy we're left like, wait, where is him? And it's kind of sad thinking, to your point, like, why wasn't he there? Bad blood, money wasn't enough. Is he healthy? Like, what is the reason he wasn't there? Because that would have been so epic.
J-Dawg, I am just glad you're into wrestling. It'll be fun. We can watch maybe some SummerSlam, some Raw. Maybe go to
Peacock
one.
Peacock has big time events every month, all year long of WWE. So we can keep doing these watch parties once a month.
That's a lot. I don't know if I can commit to every month watching wrestling. It was a lot of fun. I mean, Erin was sitting around. She's like, "What are you watching?" It's just like it was fun.
You were getting judged pretty hardcore by your wife on that.
Oh yeah, she would come in the room like, "What is this?" And I will say, I kept saying things on TikTok, and it is very much like if you saw a slideshow, it's like, I'm not watching it, and then you slide it over. It's like the child in me is watching it from when I was like 12 years old watching wrestling. It's like coming back. It makes me want to have my kid watch wrestling so we could just sit there and watch wrestling because it's such a fun thing. It's like a live drama. Like, Aaron watches whatever Bravo reality shows. Yeah. It's like, what's the difference? You're watching guys in Speedos wrestle.
So what is the biggest reason this brought you back? Is it the nostalgia of you having a kid and you're like, man, when I was a kid, I used to watch this. Maybe he'll watch it. Or is it more The Rock? Like, was that a big reason why? Is it Netflix getting into WWE?
So I think Netflix was the thing that kind of pushed me towards it. And I'm like, well, I got to watch WrestleMania. Let's see what's going on. And it did seem like a lot of the older guys were coming back. And that was a nice part to bring me in and let me watch it a little bit. Because most of the time, I'm like, I don't know who these guys are. It's like, I know who Rey Mysterio is. I did not know who Dom Dirty Rey Mysterio Jr. was. Who knew he even had a kid? So, yeah, it was a little like, okay, I got to get back into this, see what's going on. And the storylines, you really got to know the story ahead of time. But I love it. I mean, it's just fun. It's just like we sat there, we had Stone Cold beers, we had some burgers. It was a great time. What better? It was great.
It was great. And we'll be back for WrestleMania next year. I think it's going to Vegas, we said. So WrestleMania, the last one on Peacock, maybe until the new deal starts. We got one more to enjoy next year with your 1-year-old child, which will be awesome. We got to talk about another big thing that happened yesterday. Another legend who played their last event. It was something, a big lead up. We were watching it all season long, and we finally saw Larry David step away from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Mike, I set you up for it perfectly. We're not getting to Caitlin Clark yet. The real GOAT, Larry David. Did you watch the finale last night?
I did. I liked the...
okay, so spoiler alert if we're going to go through it. If we're both going to go through it. Now, spoiler alert for those listening. Make sure you watch it. We'll let you pause it now if you didn't watch it, but let's break it down.
You alerted me that it was the final episode in the whole entire series. I was like, there's no way. Like, it felt such a short season. It was a good episode. Didn't feel great, but I loved the callback to Seinfeld multiple times. JB Smooth was like, I'm watching Seinfeld. Like, what's going on here? And it was just like such a great way to end it. And it almost made me want to watch Seinfeld, and see how it actually ended and the lead up to all that. And it was a great callback to a lot of the characters as well, like in the courtroom, like how much of an asshole Larry David was. It was really good.
It was so much. It was so much like the Seinfeld finale of the courthouse, bringing in all the characters from over the years who he offended, just like the cast on Seinfeld offended, and then he was put in jail just like that. And he was setting us up for this since the episode first happened this year when he went to Georgia. He gave the water. He got arrested in episode 1. We thought he might end just like Seinfeld did in the jail cell with nothing to talk about because everything's been spoken about. He even did that callback with the pants tent, which as a man, any man listening, this is how pants often wrinkle right around your crotch.
Was that a callback to? Was that Seinfeld?
That was a callback from the first episode of Curb. That was the plot of the very first episode. And apparently, when Seinfeld and those guys were in the jail cell in the last episode, they referenced a button on a piece of clothes in the first episode. So Larry David is the king of the callback. I love a joke or anything that comes back to a callback just to bring it back. It shows a little bit of comedy plus memory, 2 things in one there. He nailed it. And then we thought he was going to be sitting in the jail cell forever. And then who comes to save him? None other than the guy who is in the jail cell forever on TV sitcom purposes, Jerry Seinfeld. Him and Elaine and George and Kramer, they're all still in the jail cell as far as we know. But he came out and he recognized the guy. It was a mistrial. We just told you the whole plot of this last episode.
It was a great episode.
It was so good. I think Larry went out on top. I was worried because like the Seinfeld finale is like he got dogged for it clearly even throughout this series for the last 20 years. I was worried he wouldn't deliver. And to me, as a Curb super fan, as a Larry David super fan, he delivered. I want more, but I'm happy with how it ended.
I liked how at the end when they were walking out of the jail, it's just like a callback. It's like, why didn't we think about this when we ended the series? And it is hard. Like you're ending something that's been on the air for 20 plus years, and all of a sudden you're like, all right, we got to end this thing. It was great. It was a fun way to end it. Sometimes when shows are ending like that, I did not watch the Dexter finale for almost like 8 years because I never wanted the show to end. So in my mind, it just like was on a cliffhanger on the second to last episode because like I don't want to end it, so I'm just never gonna end it.
That was smart because didn't Dexter come back like 8 years later?
He did, and then I finally watched it, and I'm like, oh, okay, like this is what happened. So it's kind of nice.
You're like emotionally capable of watching it, knowing that there's more out there. I like that, and I'm sad. I'm sad. Maybe Larry will make a movie one day. Maybe he'll do some other passion project. But he's old. He's like 76. So I don't know.
He's old. I think that's a good run. He had a good run.
We can talk about that other goat I was setting you up for.
We can talk
Caitlin
about
Clark, Iowa, South Carolina. She had the best season ever. It was incredible. But in the championship, she lost. And that's going to be a little bit of a blemish, even though she had this incredible run.
It was a big sports weekend. I was watching NCAA women's basketball and WrestleMania. It was a lot of stuff.
What was on your TV?
It was a lot of stuff going on. I think what she did for the sport was great. And I think whatever future she decides on, I think that sport will hopefully do something well because I don't know if WNBA is like where she should go. Sometimes I think these alternative things could be a lot of fun. I don't know where she's going to go, but it was a great weekend. I love that the coach called her out and said like what she did for the sport was really big. The opposing coach. I watched it and I kept saying like the girls, they weren't great, but she was the best out of everybody, which was great.
Her teammates weren't great, which really says something about her that made it so special that she dragged her team to that championship game. Without her, there's no players on Iowa that are playing for South Carolina. South Carolina had like the best players 2 through 10 on the court at that time. They all belonged to South Carolina after Caitlin Clark. So impressive that she led them there. What she did for women's hoops, like everyone was talking about it. The ratings have been insane, possibly better than the men's ratings, which haven't been as good and haven't been as exciting without the same level of star or team. And so I respect her so much for what she did. But you're right. I hope she goes somewhere where she stays relevant because I'm just afraid the WNBA isn't.
Yeah. Do you think this is like, I think Bill Simmons mentioned this a little bit about like sports in schools and high school and middle school. Do you think the way they're catering to all this is a way where it doesn't go on the high level of play, where if you're in middle school and you're playing basketball, are they only teaching you things to execute, to like look showy and dunk and all this and not actually the fundamentals of the sport as much? Because like I did not watch any of the men's college basketball. I could not tell you what was going on. I can't even name anybody other than Bronnie, which definitely he was not in the NCAA tournament.
It's a long ways from it.
And we could talk about him too, but I just think, is it the way everybody's being taught right now because of all the highlights? And then it's like, once you're in high school, it's like, you're basically going to the pros now. You go to NCAA and you now are in the pros. And I know we talked about it this weekend about the NCAA is thinking about making a super team of 80 college teams that maybe are, the ones that are all getting paid and there's equal pay for everybody and certain things like that. But who knows if that's going to happen. I just think something seems off because not as many talented people, at least in the U.S., like you can see a lot of Europeans and everything like that come into the U.S. and play for the NBA that are much better. Like, I don't know what other American NBA players are out there that have just started playing.
Listen, there's a lot of topics that we're meant to break down. I don't know if youth basketball is one.
I know.
I appreciate you going there. I feel like in the TikTok and social media era, I think all the youths want to be stars. I don't think they want to listen to their coaches learn fundamentals. And maybe that's the point where from Europe, they're coming in more polished. The Jokic, the guys, Luka, the guys who come over from Europe, they're like polished at a young age. Where in the otherwise, the Americans maybe are not. And so, maybe they're not learning the fundamentals, maybe not becoming great team players. Iowa could have used more team players, better players. Sure. But South Carolina was loaded up. They're all freshmen, apparently. Dawn Staley, you gave her a shout-out, that coach. She did give a great thank you to Caitlin Clark. She turned over her whole team. She lost in the Final Four last year, graduated all the starters. She had 5 new players, and they won the title undefeated this year in the year of Caitlin Clark when no one talked about South Carolina. No one knows one player's name on their team outside of hardcore fans, yet they go undefeated and beat Caitlin Clark. So good for them. Men's college basketball, the championship is tonight. We're not going to watch. I'll be playing softball.
I had no idea.
You'll be baby prepping.
I'm going to be at a maternity tour. That's what I'm going to be doing tonight. So definitely not watching tonight.
What else is coming up? Do you want to talk a little NFL draft or the Masters? 2 more things coming up.
Well, I kind of want to talk. I thought this was big news. The Oakland A's. I wanted to talk a little baseball. I know we don't talk a lot of baseball, but I thought this was something interesting because it seems like the fans made this happen. And the Oakland A's started out They started this whole. I don't know how to describe it. It felt like what the Oakland A's did. They let down their fans, and their fans decided, hey, we're not going to show up opening day. And from there, that now they're all of a sudden in Sacramento because the Oakland A's have decided to move to Las Vegas. We were at the Tropicana for the last time, which we had no idea was going to get demolished, but we were in there gambling in the summertime.
It needed to be demolished. We didn't have the best time in there.
And now they're moving to Sacramento, but potentially still going to be moving to Vegas.
Yeah.
But I think it's in a long-term way. Why not just keep the team in Sacramento and just make an expansion team in Vegas?
Mike, if you're dating a girl and you tell her that in 4 years, I'm going to break up with you.
Okay.
She's probably going to break up with you 4 years before that point, like the day you tell her. Yeah. And the A's fans were told that in 4 years, they're moving to Las Vegas. But hey, stick around, buy merchandise, buy tickets, come support us for 4 more years. And they stopped. You could argue they stopped a long time ago because no one's been going to games, and that's why the A's are in this situation. In the first place, we can have a whole discussion around Oakland or why the Oakland A's play in the Oakland Raiders football stadium and how it's not even a baseball stadium. Like, there's all these issues going on with it. At the end of the day, you're not going to run out 4 years of a term knowing the team is going to leave you unless you're leaving to go to Vegas with them for some reason. So I don't blame the fans at all. The A's are moving to Sacramento, as you said, for 3 years to play in a minor league stadium, 10,000 seat capacity. Mike, we are road tripping to Sacramento to go see them at some point. This is going to be awesome in a way because it's going to be the most intimate Major League Baseball setting in the world. You're going to see stars like Ohtani, Aaron Judge. The A's don't have any, so only the visiting stars that come in, and they're going to be right in front of you at a very close level like spring training. So I think that's going to be cool in a way for a few years. I think Sacramento will actually be more fired up than Oakland because they don't normally have a Major League team. So you can fill 10,000, you would think, most nights. And I think it's a good move until the sick Vegas stadium is built, which, like you said, right on the side of the Tropicana, right on the Strip, just like the Raiders Stadium is, just like the Vegas Golden Knights is. It's all in that little area.
All right there.
And you're going to get like foot traffic from casinos, from the Strip. It's brilliant. It's amazing it took us this long, but thank God we're here.
Do you think that... So Vegas is becoming like the mecca of the sports town, right? We got the Sphere for concerts. We got the Allegiant Stadium for football. We got now the baseball stadium, which I think is crazy. They're building a baseball stadium out there. But do you not think it should be an expansion team? Like, I almost feel bad for Oakland. They lost everything. They have nothing left. The Raiders aren't there anymore. They're losing their baseball team. They don't have a hockey team out there. San Jose is the closest hockey team. The football team for the 49ers is like not even in San Francisco.
Santa Clara is very far, right?
Yeah. Santa Clarita.
No, I had that stat. So it's all happened in the last 5 years. In 2019, even the Golden State Warriors moved to San Francisco. They actually got their own arena, which I didn't realize till recently, but they're now in San Francisco. Oakland Raiders, of course, went to Vegas in 2020, and then now in 2025, next year, the A's will move to Sacramento. 3 teams, they've lost them all, to your point, and there's none left. You may have lived in Oakland for a minute.
No. I was in San Francisco in 2007 for a summer.
Tell us about Oakland, though. You are close enough. Like, why would they lose 3 teams in 5 years?
Listen, it seems like everybody's moving, and I don't know. Listen, it could be just perception on TV and social media that makes it look a certain way, but all I see is when I'm going on like Twitter and all this stuff, all the jobs for tech are still in San Francisco. Still a ton of people still live there. I think it's just more of maybe the government's not doing something right out there. Something's wrong that's making everybody leave, and it's not a good thing. So try to keep these teams. Like, go to Sacramento, go to the Oakland A's and be like, look, we'll try to keep you. We'll build the stadium in Sacramento. You can be the Sacramento A's now, and you could just stay there and they'll expand. Because baseball could expand, right? Do they have room to expand?
I think they are. They're talking about expansion with 2 more teams to go to 32 cities like Nashville, Vancouver, Salt Lake City, Northern Virginia, Montreal. They're all rumored for 2 more teams. I disagree with you, though. I don't think Oakland deserves anything here. If you don't sell out that stadium, if you don't go more often, then the team has every right to leave. It's happening in Florida on both coasts. The Tampa Bay Rays, our mutual friend, not the one we always talk about, another one, just moved to St. Pete. He has all the money in the world. He will not step foot inside the Rays warehouse of a stadium because it's disgusting and it's a shit show. And even though the Rays are good, it doesn't matter. It's not like going to Dodger Stadium and sitting outside and just enjoying yourself. It's not like that at all. And so it all depends on who's going to games, who's not. And if you're not supporting your local team, the team should have every right to go. And by the way, this also ties back to a point that pisses me off so much is when city taxpayers build these new stadiums for teams. We need to get away from that completely. That is not happening in Las Vegas because there's so much walk-in tourist traffic available. We need to get rid of that across the board. And I hope the people of Oakland are happy that they are not paying for a new stadium, that they'd rather see their team leave than do that.
Did you see that Kansas City, the taxpayers decided to vote against helping build a new Kansas City stadium, and now Kansas City's kind of like, maybe we leave, or the billionaire cashes up a couple $1 billion?
It just sounds more disingenuous for a team like the Kansas City Chiefs to be like, might leave. Like, where are the Kansas City Chiefs going to go?
They're threatening to leave, and they're just
what is their leverage? They keep winning Super Bowls. We know how much money their owner has been making, how much money they've been printing at all their home playoff games in the Patrick Mahomes era. I don't want to hear this shit. Good for the people of Kansas City that did not support paying for that new stadium. And I would love the Chiefs owner to have a press conference and say, thank you, fans, for everything you've done for us. We're moving somewhere, and see how that goes for him.
I always wonder, why did they want a new stadium? Like, is there some prestige in building a new $7 billion stadium? Like, if your stadium's working, I don't know if you've seen, but the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs has a penthouse townhome in, like, it's not just a suite. It's literally a home built into the suite section. It's a 2-story home in there. So it's like, why leave? You could literally live in the stadium if you wanted to.
The sick part is I think they want bigger stadiums with more suites and more hospitality so they can do more upcharging and make more money for the owners, because we know the city of Kansas City would not make any money on that. It would only be the ownership. And so these dirty owners in sports, Mike, we'll do many episodes, many pods on this.
Okay, we got a lot.
It fires me up. The price, the cost fires me up. And taxpayers, people like me and you and people much less off than us that are paying for stadiums that they can't even afford to go to once they're built. Oh, it's American greed at its finest, and it's disturbing on every level.
Can I just talk about something real quick? Sidebar, talking about money. I just want to say there was a giant conspiracy this weekend with the Powerball being delayed on Saturday night. It was delayed 3 hours, and I was seeing that people on the East Coast at like 3 o'clock in the morning were checking what the tickets were, and they kept seeing that there was 8 winners, and then they check an hour later, there's 3 winners. And then it only became 1 winner in Oregon. I'm calling bullshit on this $1 billion Powerball scheme. It is fraud, and something happened. I played $60 worth of tickets. I was very close. I had very close numbers. I didn't get the numbers, but I was very close. But I'm just saying something fishy's going on, and I don't know what it is, and I don't like it.
You're calling fraud. Who is that on? Is it on the state of California? Is it on the American government? Who runs it?
Whoever's running, I think it's in Ohio, right? Don't they do the Ohio? That's where they draw the lotto tickets for like nationwide, I think.
I really don't know. I know the state of Florida always did like the state lottery, but I know Powerball is nationwide or across the country. So some governing body has to rule it. You're saying fraud.
I'm calling fraud. What is the 3-hour delay? Oh, it was Minnesota. It was like a double check. They had to check the system or something. I don't like it.
A hard F word on whoever's running Powerball.
I'm calling fraud. And listen, just let me win, and I'll drop it. Just give me the $1 billion. I'll drop it.
All right, Mike. We have a few minutes left. Let's get to the Masters. Is that okay?
Well, real quick? What about Bronnie? Well, let's end with the Masters. The Masters is this weekend. We'll recap it next weekend too. But
yeah, of course.
Let's talk about Bronnie. Bronnie has declared for the NBA and also the transfer portal. He's leaving USC. I saw today in a news article, teams think his defense is an NBA caliber defense. J-Dawg, you're a Bronnie expert. Do you agree with what's going on with Bronnie?
Well, people should know by now that we have been studying USC basketball. We are Bronnie experts, to your point. And I saw an Instagram post last week, and all it said was declared. And it was Bronnie, and it said declared. I was like, thank God. He is declaring for minor league basketball. He is declaring to give up the sport. He is declaring to be his dad's personal assistant. He is declaring to work for his dad's media company. There's all these options that ran through my head of what he's declaring to do before I read the fine print of the Instagram post. And when I saw that he's declaring for the NBA, Mike, it was a mouth drop moment. It was when Undertaker came out, the same thing, mouth drop moment when I saw Bronnie's going to the NBA because I couldn't believe it. Because we've been studying this. We've been poring over the stats, been watching the game film, checking out box scores, comparing him to other greats of Suns like Marcus Jordan, who averaged many more points per game in college than Bronnie James did. And I just can't believe, like this all goes back to LeBron. I'm now blaming LeBron for this. Forever talking about playing with his son, forever putting this pressure on Bronnie, forever saying it out in the universe. And now Bronnie unfortunately believes it because his role model, his father, has been telling him this for so long, and it's now impacting his future. Bronnie is not good at basketball. Bronnie should probably change his last name so people don't confuse him with LeBron James himself. I just can't believe he thinks he's going to the NBA. I'd be shocked if he's an NBA pick in either round, the first or the second. I was educating you, I think, last week about there's only 2 rounds. There's not like 8 or 10 rounds for him to go on day 4. There's no day 4. He's playing in Europe if he doesn't get drafted in the first 2 rounds. And so I think he's declared to go somewhere where we'll never have to watch him play basketball, not on my TV at least.
So you don't think Bronnie James is going to the NBA this season? He's going to another college, going to get paid NIL money, and be set for maybe 2 more years in the NCAA.
He might declare for the NBA. It does not guarantee the NBA is going to draft him unless LeBron and Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss, who we know he's very close to Jeannie Buss, very touchy-feely with Jeannie Buss. Maybe LeBron is saying, second round, you better, or else I'm out of here. Like, he might be doing ultimatums, but I gave you a rant on that a few weeks ago about how that's going to hurt the Lakers. The Lakers are fighting for their playoff lives right now. They're right at the bottom. They're going to have to win 2 games just to get into the actual playoffs in that little end-of-season tournament they're going to have. The Lakers aren't good. They need scorers. They don't need maybe good defenders. The NBA doesn't play defense. Everyone shoots threes and runs back to the other side. No one even plays defense. The idea that we're saying that he's good defensively is because we don't have defensive stats to look at to show that he's bad at them. Because they can't say he's good offensively. We can point to the stats. True. Mike, you're getting me fired up again. This makes me really mad that people think he's going to play in the NBA.
All right, let's just calm down. Talk about the Masters. Relax.
How do we transition to the joyous...
You have the picture right above your head. If people are watching on YouTube, by the way, go subscribe on YouTube.com/Sports Hangover. He's wearing his Masters shirt. By the way, I'm just going to throw it out there real quick. There is some new swag on the website. Ultra Luxe Sports Hangover swag. It's expensive. It's $130. But if you want it, it's very expensive.
More than Master Shop merchandise. What are you doing?
It's expensive. I'm gonna get myself one, and just to make sure the quality is up to par.
Did you say $130 for
$130
a hoodie?
Hoodie, classic. It's
oh my gosh.
Yeah. There's
Mike,
not many.
You love to charge what we charge. Okay, it's Masters Week, and I'm very excited about it. And we'll talk about some picks. We'll talk about the beauty of it. But, Mike, something you may not understand about the Masters is the menu once you're there. And it's very hard to get a ticket. I just wanted to share some prices with you. In this era of American greed we just spoke about here on the pod, just want to list some prices, real-life prices, 2024 Masters concessions.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Pork barbecue sandwich, $3.
It's great.
egg salad sandwich or pimento cheese sandwich. The Masters is known for these two. They're $1.50 each. Can you process that to go to a sporting event and pay $1.50 for a sandwich?
Jeremy, we went to the Genesis Open out here in the Palisades.
Yeah, same sport.
Greatest place you can live in LA if you can afford it. Minimum house price $5 million. We went out there. We were getting chicken sandwiches for about $45.
Literally, like not
literally 40, like not even a joke.
From a
like,
food truck, not from a real brick and mortar restaurant.
It was $45. It was like $25 for a cocktail. Just like maybe an 8-ounce drink, mostly ice. Yeah, it's not great.
Domestic beers at the Masters, Mike. I can't make this up. $5 a beer. $5 a beer.
I love it.
New this year. This is a big deal. The Masters is brewing their own blend of beer called the Crow's Nest.
Oh.
Also $5 for Augusta beer. Snacks.Maybe you just want a snack. A bag of chips, $1.50. Peanuts, $1.50. And the famous Georgia peach ice cream sandwiches, $2.50. So among all the things that are amazing about attending the Masters, the food and the pricing, right up there at the top.
I love it. One day maybe we'll go, Jeremy. I would definitely go to that event.
I don't think we are. Tickets for this year on Wednesday, which is before the competition starts, just a practice day. Get-in price over $3,000.
So, but we could win the lotto to get the cheap tickets, right?
Yeah, and they're like $100 once you win the lotto. The Masters doesn't cap
So how many? Because I was thinking about this last year, and I didn't do it. But whenever the tickets go up, let me know, and I'm going to hire a fleet of people from somewhere not in in America to put in as many email addresses as possible to then maybe rig the system.
You're describing the LA public golf bots.
Yes, yeah.
That's what you're describing.
I might be describing the guy in K-Town
just
running.
Covered this recently.
He's running the streets of golf in LA right now.
He must have a ton of Masters tickets on hand.
Oh, for sure.
I want you to meet this guy. The bots are a problem, Mike. They're not the solution.
Can we? I'm going to see. Do you know if we can meet this guy? We got to get him on the podcast because what a great scoop for us.
You think he's doing press?
Maybe I'll get him in here. He can wear like one of those black hoodies, and we can disguise his voice a little bit.
Did you see 60 Minutes recently? They interviewed that woman, and they gave her completely makeup and a fake nose and everything.
No.
And they didn't black her out. They put her on camera, but she was completely made up like Hollywood style.
I didn't see it. What was it for?
Well, it's actually for a very serious story on Havana syndrome, which has been in our conspiracy theories.
The Russians,
she knew about Havana syndrome, but she didn't want to go on camera and talk, so they gave her a full makeup disguise, which is brilliant.
Will you tell everybody what Havana syndrome is, real quick, just for the non-conspiracy theorists in the world?
We were just talking about the Masters, but we will mention the Havana syndrome really quick. Is this happens in Cuba? Started in Havana, Cuba. Now it's all over the world. Adversaries, opponents of Russia, keep having this issue where they have ringing in their ears, which is called Havana syndrome. They later have brain damage, possible issues that require more maintenance and long-term
It's very
surgery.
targeted, too.
Very targeted to them, maybe in like your hotel room or something like that. Really off topic, but that is what Havana syndrome is.
Yeah. Also, if you want to watch something that's like not in the same realm, but kind of, Three Body Problem on Netflix. Great little mini series if you want to watch something crazy like that.
Okay, let's wrap up Masters talk. Really a beautiful place. The weather's going to be great in Augusta this week, except for Thursday with thunderstorms. Yes.
The most important thing is I need 5 guys you think can win because I'm going to enter a Masters pool and I need to know names.
I do have 5. You're getting down to business there. Listen. Let's start on the live side of things. The live guys, they don't play a lot of competitive golf because they're all doing their little 3-day music rounds with live golf, and it's not real. But there's a few live guys I like. One, Bryson DeChambeau. Mike, he is a scientist, a physicist, and what happened today in the sky? The sun disappeared. This is that guy's favorite week of the year, favorite week ever. We saw him in glasses today studying, taking notes on the eclipse. Bryson DeChambeau might win the Masters during the eclipse. That was huge. We love Brooks Koepka. He's a major champion through and through. He doesn't win much of the non-majors, but he steps up in the majors, and we like that. The guy who steps up when it matters most in sports. Dustin Johnson, a little bit of a wild card, another live guy. So I'm starting with the 3 live guys there. He's got the distance. He's won the Masters before. I think he could do it again.
Okay. Who are the non-live guys?
You
seems
have
like
to have
both
Scotty
guys.
Scheffler. I don't think he's going to win, but every stat tells you he's going to win. If you're entering a pool with 5 people and you don't have him, chances are he's going to win and you're not going to win. So you got to take him as one of your 5. And the pick that's actually going to win the Masters, the one that's going to surprise you, win your pool, because not many people will have him.
I'm ready.
Xander Schauffele. This guy is cold-blooded. He is an Olympic gold medal winner for golf. He will defend his title in Paris this year, and he has never won a major, and it's his moment. Right now, he's been putting with someone I know very well. You could say one of my friends is helping him with his putting, and it's going really well. And we're just going to leave it there. Xander Schauffele.
You got some inside info.
Xander Schauffele is a great bet for the Masters.
Okay, I like this. Jeremy, do you want to join the pool with me? You want to get in on this $25 buy-in?
It sounds like I just gave you my 5 picks, so I think we're going to
Okay, then I'll just go with them. That's easy. I'll just win it all then.
Just win it all with that.
Okay, I'm going to bet on them. I'm going to put real money on them. I'm going to enter the contest. Golf is hard for me to watch, but Sunday, if it's coming down to the wire.
Not this year. The Masters is special. Listen, Masters.com, all-day viewing. There's every shot live. You can watch it. The beauty's amazing. Amen Corner, when they get down to holes 11, 12, and 13, that's when shit really starts to spin. There's some souls of golfers who have died in the past that live out there and just spin the wind around, and weird shit always happens there. We're going to have a little watch party Saturday. If you don't have a baby by then, maybe you'll come by and do a little Saturday. Sunday, I need to be locked in. No visitors. Because what the famous people say, Mike, is the Masters doesn't truly begin until the second 9 on Sunday. So no matter what happens all week, those last 2 hours on Sunday will decide the Masters tournament. Tiger Woods is back. He has not played since he got the flu the day before we went to see him at Genesis, which you just mentioned. It's been months. So I don't think he's going to win, but good, he's playing. It's the most beautiful place on earth. It's spiritual. I hope we can go one day. I just don't know if we can afford it.
One day. Check out the sportshangover.com. New swag is up. Very expensive. It's summertime. I know sweaters are up there. I'm gonna make some new tees. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, and if you have comments, our hotline is currently down. So please leave a comment on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. Jeremy's monitoring our TikTok. A lot of comments out there. We're gonna get the hotline next week. There's a lot of
I'm saving my NFL draft topics for next week, including some Caleb Williams hot takes next week.
All right, good.
Stay tuned for that.
Good show. Talk to you next week.